Hi, thank you for watching a new video blog. One of my subscribers asked me how is it possible that I believe in God. He had this question because he saw this video where I talk about how God makes my life like so good, how I'm so thankful towards God. And he just didn't get it. It was not like in a way he said, you know, you're crazy that you believe this, but he was just not getting it. He didn't understand it. And I can understand because he probably wasn't brought up with the idea of a God. And I was brought up with this idea. And later I found my own ways in it. Well, not maybe my own, but maybe you know, it's something that you have to understand by yourself, by looking around you and understanding that God exists. And if it's something that's only taught to you, then you also can like quickly forget that, you know, God exists. And he probably wasn't brought up with this idea at all. So for me, if I explain to people that the most concerning thing that I have, most concerning thing that I see is that I don't see people anymore being thankful to God. They see God only as this bougie man that's out there to make their lives boring and like with punishment, and there's a lot of things that you cannot do. Really like a bougie man. But they forget that that's just the way civilization transformed God. When agriculture came, when civilization came, this is the new God, the God that makes rules. And why did he need to make rules? That was because in nature, people also believed in God, but there were no rules, because natural rules are not rules. They're instincts. In nature, you understand that stealing from somebody else, raping, murdering, hurting other people, gossiping is not good. And you will get this directly in your face back. That's nature. So when agriculture came, civilization, this changed. Now, there were no tribes anymore. People had to live together with total strangers. And what happens when you break natural law? You get diseases like stealing, like raping, like all the other things, hate, fights. Doesn't happen in nature. You don't see this in perfect nature and also with perfect natural tribes. So what do you believe if you believe in God? You believe that nature is amazing. You believe that your life is a gift. You believe that everything around you is a miracle. You believe that the experience that you have here are not useless. You go after you die, which is basically not dying as we know it. We transform into the next stage. And once you believe in God, you know that you are here to build up experience, to succeed in that next stage. Everything that you learn here, everything that you experience here, you will carry with you in the next stage. If you are only in the civilized world, in what just basically is destroyed nature, you will not build up these natural, beautiful experiences. You will just build up artificial, fake, demonic experiences, because that's what it is. You destroyed the place that God created. And there you cannot learn anything. There you cannot prepare for the next stage. That is why civilization is so horrible. In nature, the vibrations of nature resonate with the vibrations in heaven. And I think heaven is maybe a concept that for most people is just like, oh, you're just, you know, it's like this cliche. But let's say in the next life. So if you see this, if you start to live natural, the belief in God comes naturally, because you see that everything is a miracle, and the greatest miracle is your life. The fact that you were once just a cell, a small cell, and that has grown out into who you are, into a soul, a living soul. Well, that's the greatest miracle that you even can imagine. naturally you want to thank those that made your life, that created your soul, your ancestors. That is why you see ancestor worship is also a part of religion, and it's part of God, because God creates, He created the world, but He continues to create, because it doesn't stop. He just didn't create like a statue and then it stands there, and it stands there for millions of years and then it's maybe one day rots away. No, nature is still creating. It continues to create in circles. And every time it creates again and again, and that's your life. And you are thankful that you finally arrived at this place. Your soul arrives and is ready to learn. And you're thankful that your ancestors took the courage and the time and all these other things to create you. And that's why you worship your ancestors. That's why in church you see, for example, Mary, Holy Mary. Why do people worship her? Because she stands for this creation, for this miracle, the greatest miracle on the planet. That is the creation of a new life. And the mother creates this new life, of course, with the father, but the baby grows in the womb of the mother. And that's a miracle. That's why they call her Mother of God. Most people that are really Orthodox Christians, they found this hard. They say, oh, you know, Mary is not the Mother of God. But they don't get this concept that it's deriving from the miracle of the child, of the baby. Creation in itself. We are still creating. That's why ancestry worship is also worshiping God. You worship God, like the universal God, but you also worship your ancestors, because they are basically a part of God, because they created you. God created. Creation continues. So when you are so excited about life, and when you live naturally, you become excited. You live with your family, you live with your tribe, you eat raw meat, you have the sun on your skin, you have freedom, you can dance, you can sing. Of course you want to thank God for this. You are so happy, you want to say, the one that brought you here, thank you. When you live naturally, there is no depression and there is no hate. In natural life, there is no hate, there is no depression, there's no disease. So if you live naturally, you will feel happy, you feel excellent, and you want to thank God for that. Now, my problem with nowadays is that people focus on the civilized world and they want to get rid of nature. They want to live as unnatural as possible. They want to live in a city. They want to watch Netflix and internet all day. And also what I notice is that they don't even have 1 hour in the week to worship their God, the creator, the ones that created them. They're so selfish and they're so centered around their own ego that they don't even understand that if you worship God, He will give you more in return. He will, the worshiping moment is what I experience, helps me to become stronger. And this is only like maybe 1 or 2 hours in the week. You don't, you know, there is no need to do this more, but you're sacrificing a few things of your own time. So maybe I can answer the question about why do I believe in God, is that I started to become more of a believer in God when I started to live more naturally. And sometimes people think that, oh, you just walk around in nature, you're like, oh, it's so beautiful, oh, you know, like somebody that's with a backpack and just walks around in a forest. No, when you start to live really natural, first of all, your family, live closer to your family. First of all, have a big family, have lots of children. Then spend time with them, then live in nature, then eat natural food like raw meat, raw eggs, make a fire, feel the sun on your skin, have no stress, no commitments to civilization. that is what makes you believe in God automatically. Because you will feel the most excellent, the most excelling feeling inside of you. You want to thank somebody, and you know that you will be thanking the one that brought you here on this place. So for me, that is how I believe. I want to give back. I want to thank God for what I experience out, the growth that I make in my life, the change that I make from returning to nature to experience this. And I want to worship Him and thank Him for this. And like I say, this will happen more and more if you start to live in nature. You will feel so good, you cannot imagine. And then automatically you want to celebrate and thank God and also your ancestors. You will worship them, you will thank them, you will make a sacrifice for them, an altar to sacrifice for them, because you're so thankful for what they did for you. They created you, they made your life, and automatically you will do this. And you also see this, animals doing this. You know, a dog will bury his bone in the place where his ancestors died. And we think, oh, he's burying the bone maybe for later. Maybe, but also he probably does this for his worshiping his ancestors. He wants to give something back. So yeah, this is my answer. It's the more you start to live natural, the more you start to understand nature, the more you see that God created us to experience life here in nature, to take back into the next life. That we worship our ancestors. We worship, for example, Mary, because she's showing us that the creation of life is the greatest miracle on where we are. So it comes automatically. And if you have questions about it, and please talk with me about this. I'm open to tell more about this, because I think it's a really great understanding, and that I also want to share that the power God gives you is making you excelling so in your own power so much more. You will feel so much more closer and closer to nature and to real life. That was it for today. Thank you for watching. See you next time.